Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Archway Industrial Coatings AMA Truck Series. It's Murph, it's Sam Crow, and we're back here at Charlotte one more time. This time, it's the Top Flight, it's the Truck Series. Sam, we've got 200 miles, 134 laps here this evening, as opposed to the 300-miler we had last night. The two main protagonists from last night, though, Greg Evans and Kyle Heath, they are not here. And so what does that tell you? Well, Ryan O'Donohue at the top of the speed chart. I don't think that is much surprise.
One-armed bandit.
That's right. What are you thinking for tonight, Sam?
I think that there is still a stellar amount of talent here at this track in the Truck Series, and I'm looking forward to some great racing, as always, here at the AMA. And it's always a delight to get back here at Charlotte, where the bragging rights are really up there with Daytona and Talladega. Even though those are super speedways, it's always a bragging thing when you can win at Charlotte for any iRacing driver.
You know, it most certainly is. This is round 4 in a 6-race stretch. Next week we're going to be at the Nashville Super Speedway, and then we're going to round out with 200 miles at Michigan on June the 6th. Owing to the holiday weekend, we do have kind of a shorter field. Many people are traveling this weekend. I know many in the open wheel community have converged on Indianapolis, and so any of those drivers are no longer available to their rigs. Speaking of open wheel drivers, though, Matty Wagner, he's going to park it in third position here in practice thus far with about 8 minutes left. How about that? That's a newcomer to the series. Matty Wags looking to get in and have some fun.
Well, Wags is never one. He's never a stranger to trying to put whatever he's driving up front, and so he's always pushing himself, always trying to get faster, always trying to get better. I've raced with him in the Truck Series before. He's a consummate competitor, and I'm not surprised one bit that he's up there at the top of the speed chart. Look for him in this race. He really knows how to push it.
Now, last night we saw kind of a tactical race at the end. Pit strategy came into play. Ryan O'Donohue leapt out in front of Greg Evans and Kyle Heath, and then he got reeled back in. They passed him like he was tied to a post. Evans and Heath ran away with the win. What do you expect to see tonight, Sam, as far as racing goes? These trucks run a little bit differently, don't they?
They do run a little differently. The characteristics, of course, change between the trucks and the Xfinity cars, but you will not see much of a difference in strategy. You will see some drivers that will really, because of stage breaks, and I sound like a broke record sometimes, Mark, but stage breaks really change the atmosphere of how drivers approach these races, because drivers that really put the time and the effort and the practice in these events, they will learn how to push that truck as hard as they can push it in the window of that stage break, so that they can learn the nuances of how much tire they're using, how much tire they need to save, what the other competitors are doing. And so stage racing really does bring a different atmosphere when you're talking about how these races play out. You'll see some drivers are going to push very hard at the beginning and want to get up front, and they may burn it down, but they're going to push to get up front. And then you'll have other drivers that'll be much more methodical. They will pace themselves, even lap times, just trying to make sure that they're doing everything they can to preserve the truck for the final stage. So I think we'll find a lot of strategy playing out tonight as we did last night.
Most certainly. So Ryan O'Donohue, speaking of that strategy, he is leading. He is atop the practice leaderboard. He is also atop the point standings. He's got a pole. He does not have a win. However, Chuck Sweeting is second in those standings. Kendall Paul, Chad Winstead, Chad Dulabon round out the top 5, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about here in the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. You want to get that win, get yourself locked in the points. Right now, Chad Dulabon has 3 of those. Kendall Paul, Chad Winstead, Mike George, Justin Osterman, Logan Edwards, the old narc brain, and Austin Hund, as well as Tanner Hacker. They all have wins. Tanner Hacker, though, has only made 1 start. Austin Hund only 2. And so they would not have met the minimum requirements in order to move on to the playoffs at this point. Logan Edwards, though, he has been a regular in the series, both here and on Thursday night in the Xfinity Series. Although I do not show Logan signed in to the event at this point, and it could be Logan Edwards, a Midwesterner. He could be at Indianapolis with seemingly 2/3 of the racing world. The other third is here at Charlotte for the for the NASCAR races. I saw something today, Sam, that I didn't think I would ever see in my lifetime. That there were 6 Oscar Mayer Wienermobiles driving around the Indianapolis Motor. Did you see that?
I did not see that, but now you're going to make me go to YouTube and find that video.
You know, you should. It was apparently the Wienermobile only goes, the top speed is 60 miles an hour, and so it turned into a drafting contest. But they showed it on Fox Sports. It was the silliest thing I've seen on a racetrack in a long time. The public enjoyed it, though. I will say this. I work in an industry which is very risk averse. I mean, it is no secret that I'm an insurance adjuster. And so when I talk about racing, it generally, especially amongst my colleagues, generates eye rolls. I can't believe you.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I'm sorry.
Can't engage in such behavior. I bet you I got a dozen messages in our inter-office messaging service today about a Wienermobile race at the Speedway. It was absolutely hilarious. So good for them for trying something different.
I was laughing because you made me pull the video up, and the beginning of the video on YouTube has, I don't know who the elderly woman was, but she says, "Wieners, start your engine."
Oh, it's good stuff. We do have Donald Green checking in. He's already getting his belts tightened up. He's ready to rock, and he's hoping to have a better night than last night. We do hope you have a better night than you did last night too, Donald. We are back with the events logos. Did you see that, Sam? Kendall Paul has got us a logo for this race, and I do like that. That's one of the things about the AMA. I think it really makes the broadcast pop. We've got a couple of minutes.
Their graphic work is really good.
Yes, it is. So we'll let Sam get back to watching old ladies shout about wieners.
It is so funny that you mentioned. I haven't seen this until you brought it up.
Oh, it'll take.
I've had a very busy day today. So.
The top speed on those things is 60 miles an hour, so it'll be after qualifying before the actual race finishes. I don't know how many laps they did, but it takes.
It's a 10-minute race. Race.
So they did 4 laps, right? So a qualifying run, which would be 10 minutes because flat out the Wienermobile does 60 miles an hour. It was quite comical.
Just the 30 seconds I saw was more than I could handle.
Oh no! Don't be shy, Sam. It actually it turned into a pretty good race, as races go. Yeah,
I will watch it. You better believe I'll watch it.
Yeah, it turned into a pretty good race as far as racers go. We've got about 90 seconds left in practice.
Here we were, honestly, last night. Here we were talking about Humpy Wheeler and his propensity to have these great pre-race reviews.
He never had the Wienermobile, though. He did.
He never had the Wienermobile.
He never had that. Now, what was your favorite? We kind of talked about it. We touched on this last night. What was your favorite Humpy Wheeler promotion? If you've got to put your finger on it.
He always had the ones that I seem to always enjoy the most, and I can't remember. There was always the gentleman that was always crashing into buses. I mean, they would line buses up, and then he would just Dukes of Hazzard hit a ramp and just crash into the buses. That was always a big big event for our crowd.
Jimmy the Greek?
It may have been. I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, wasn't that the guy that they had to delay the race at Bristol because his truck damaged the racing surface?
Yeah,
Jimmy the Greek. I'm gonna
those were always hype in those things was always so very good.
I'm gonna go with the mock invasion of Grenada. I mean, they had military assets.
It was ch- very real military assets, and it was well coordinated. And I will tell you, for a Memorial Day of reenactment, it was very inspiring to see our armed forces and what they actually do and how they perform and things like that. But as
Yes.
far as a race fan, I just thought that the crashing was much better for me.
Oh no, the school bus thing is absolutely awesome too. Go watch the video of Jimmy the Greek destroying many a
And
school
no,
bus,
I'm just going to
Charlotte,
tell you,
Bristol,
you get
wherever.
you get you get a bunch of army personnel jumping off of helicopters, and that promotes a spirit of patriotism. But you get one guy that's crazy enough to destroy himself and cars and buses, and that gets a bunch of beer swilling, race fans really going in the stands. He had those folks just supercharged.
He does indeed. We're gonna watch. We're gonna watch a qualifying effort as we always do here, Sam. That is Kendall Paul. He's sitting on the pit lane, and he would be just about as good a one as any to watch here. He is not yet gone. Now the story with Kendall Paul is he has been, and thank you so much for Matty Wagner shouting out to everybody in the audience. He's apparently got Craig Forsyth on his pit box, so that might be the blind leading the crippled over there. We'll see.
Now don't be talking about foresight. I'm telling you, the man is an open wheel legend.
Yes, he is, and love Craig Forsyth, but we got to give him a hard time too, Sam.
Now, Wags, give it all.
We're on board with Kendall Paul. Just to show you the weather, 77 degrees in the air, 89 on the track. Humidity is not an issue, 59.75%. Mostly cloudy.
These are great race conditions.
Yeah, it's mostly sun's going down. It is going to be another picture-perfect night here in the AMA for a motor race. And here's Kendall Paul. He's got the green flag.
Green flag?
Yeah, we're on board with him. We're on the gyro cam. Love this thing. It really gives you an idea
I
of the
think this is his burn lap. He's riding the tops, so he's just going to get some heat in the tires here. And this truck does have a tendency to get a little loose, so especially on cold tires. So this may be what Kendall's doing here. Is just generating some inertia, some speed, and getting some heat into the tires so that he can run his fast lap. Chuck Sweeting just turned a 29.8. That's a great lap.
Indeed. So I found out what Matty was talking about when he said Craig Forsyth is on his pit box. He's got the publicity picture of Craig, like for the big race spot races. That's his pit signboard. Is the picture of Craig.
Okay.
Right. So
wow, look at Kendall Paul hug the white line there in 3.
yes, he does.
May have cost him just a little bit. It kind of pushed him up the racetrack just a hair.
But that's a lap of Charlotte in a
That's still a great lap. P2.
In a truck P2 174.708. Kendall Paul. Let's see if we can get somebody else. Well, I tell you what, let's have a look at Matt Wagner here.
Well, of course, why not? Since we're talking about him,
We might as well. Big P1
he's
logo
broke
on the
out the Matt Kenseth DeWalt paint scheme today.
on a Toyota with a giant P1 logo on the back of it. So we appreciate that, Matt. Thank you so much. We'll have to show his pit signboard at some point, just for everybody, just
he
for
was
the
really
viewers.
loose there coming off of 2.
Yes, he was. There he goes. Now he's doing the same thing. He's throwing a lap away, just like Kendall did.
Yeah, the truck's probably a little too temperamental on those first laps to really try and push the envelope and try to get a fast lap out of it. So that the heat in the tires helps a lot.
One of the things that I've noticed, Sam, is to be completely frank with you, is a lot of times in these setups, the fastest lap is not 1 or 2, it's 3.
No question. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. And there are many leagues that I race in that they will give you 4 laps for a qualifying run.
Yeah. And here's Matty Wagner. He's going to come to the stripe, lap 2, 29.886.
Another great lap, P2.
Yeah, so he's P2, but nobody to this point has been able to knock Chuck Sweeting off of the nobody's been able to knock Chuck Sweeting off the top of the totem pole. Jeremy Dunwoody is the last one out. You've still got Liam Anderson and Ryan O'Donohue with laps available, but thus far, none of them.
Ryan was at the top of the practice chart last night in the Xfinity Series race, and Ryan did not take a qualifying run.
He did not. Liam Anderson,
and he may be under the same premise tonight.
Yeah, he may just not. Maybe he's resting his shoulder. Let's get Matt Wagner in here. They're gonna red flag. I was gonna see if it would show the signboard.
Mike Rigney's in the chat, and he said that he beat the pants off Wagner so bad at Gateway that he's quit open wheel racing and gone to trucks.
Oh me.
We got to do what we've got to do, Mike. We just have to do what we have to do.
On the pole, Chuck Sweeting.
Well, it's a great lap.
Yeah.
They're the only two drivers in the 8.
Yeah, Chuck Sweeting, he's going to take the pole 175.501 miles an hour. Matt Wagner, 175.146. He's going to be to the outside. Paul Witt, he's going to make up row 2 along with James Hodgson. Kendall Paul and Jeffrey Hyatt, row 3. Ted Craven, Chad Winstead, 7th and 8th. David Dunwoody, Braden Langley, they're going to round out the top 10. In 11th, Brandon Wallace. 12th, Justin Osterman. Michael Kirk's going to go from 13th. Keith Graham, 14th. Billy Elwell, he'll be 15th. How about Tyler Moore? He's going to go from 16th. Corey Palermo is 17th. Donald Green, he'll roll 18th. Jeremy Dunwoody, 19th. Ryan O'Donohue and Liam Anderson did not take time, and those are two bad, fast trucks. There in the back, you see them. Yeah, the 8 and the 14. They're both very quick. Do we need to take bets on how long it's going to take those two to get up to the front?
Well, I think we're going to find it's going to be a little ginger on the start. A lot of the trucks will have to try and figure out how they're going to navigate safely through the first lap, so that just so that they can generate heat in the tires and get a little grip. The conditions for racing are really good tonight. They are superb. 76 track temp, 74 degrees. This is ideal racing. And now we actually even have the lights on at the track.
Yeah, we do. And with the lights coming on, that means the track temp is dropping even more. Saying we're down to 74 in the air. 76 on the racing surface, and that is only going to continue to cool. And as it cools, Sam, it's going to get a lot more racy out there on the track here at Charlotte. Yeah, thank you so much to Carrie Elwell for tuning in tonight in support of her son Billy and his teammate Liam Anderson. They are fun to watch, absolutely. We got Gaming Guy saying hello to me. Thank you so much, my good man, for tuning us in. We have a nice crowd one more time on hand for the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, we're watching the pace car go.
Friday night, Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Racing, iRacing. Let's go. Tighten those belts. Let's go racing. Let's go truck racing.
Truck racing, Sam?
NASCAR truck racing?
Pick 'em up truck racing.
Listen, I've never called them pick 'em up trucks.
I'm going to tell you this. We've got one more.
All right, Kendall Paul's extended the pace lap here. The lights are out on the pace car, and they are trying to sort out a couple of things here.
Yes, they are some different penalties and so forth.
Right, there are some league administration decisions that are having to be handed out here, and so they're just trying to make sure that they get everyone in a proper order.
Now, with Charlotte Motor Speedway comes special paint schemes, and I got to say, the one that you are not going to miss out there, that's the forward-facing 88 of James Hodgson. That baby looks like a zebra.
Love it. I love it.
It is.
I love it.
I don't know if he's trying to mimic a zebra or if somebody threw him in prison and that was what he was wearing last night. But
Sheldon Cooper would say he's the Doppler effect.
That's true. It's very true. We just watched that episode. That was just on not too long ago, Sam. But a very interesting looking truck for James Hodson.
Listen, as a painter, I will tell you, it is incredibly hard to get those lines to match on that template like that. That is incredible. That's very good work.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not good work, but you cannot miss that thing out here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway tonight. That truck is
That's how good the work is.
Distinct. Well, it draws attention to his sponsors and so forth, and that's what a good paint scheme should do, Sam.
Matt Wagner is pulling up close here. He's going to make sure that Chuck Sweden doesn't get too big of a jump on the start. But here we go. We're under green flag here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Chuck Sweden gets.
They're checking up a little bit. They're from 4th, 5th on back.
They are now. Oh, hard in the wall. Kendall Paul. Now, he was one that he's been having some major issues with his wheel, and that has got to be an equipment failure there for Kendall Paul. He smokes the inside wall now. He's going to get it off the racing surface. Kendall Paul has already towed in his
there's a crash in 4. The 30 is in the wall. Ted Craven.
All right, man. Caution is out.
Now we have a caution. Oh, no.
Donald Green involved. Billy Elwell on the pit lane. Huge
Ted
trouble
Craven
here.
just loses the back of the truck. He tries to save it. The second time he overcorrects and just careens, and the back of the field just comes barreling through. I think that is Keith Graham that's involved. Yes, Keith Graham, who had a very tough night last night and battled back all night long. He was involved in this.
He just got
someone careened off of the 30 as well after he got into the wall.
That was Ryan O'Donohue and Keith Graham. You had trucks going to the pit lane trying to take evasive action.
Oh,
that was Billy Elwell and Donald Green. They're trying to get to pit road to serve penalties. They've got drive-throughs to start the race.
Brandon Wallace that he hits first. That was Brandon Wallace in the red truck.
And then poor Donald Green, he gets into Billy Elwell there, trying to serve as they try to serve their penalties.
Man. This again, this is just the instance that I was concerned about on the first lap. That it would be the first lap of a start or a restart because the tires are so cold, and this truck really needs to get heat in those tires so they can get the grip and the adhesion they need. And it's not unusual to be so excited and so ramped up that you just overdrive a little bit in the corners on that first lap. And Ted Craven tried to save it, but the second save, it just overcorrected.
Yeah, it's really
I hate that.
It is, and I do too, Sam. It's it's a matter of you want to try to be a little bit more patient there on the opening laps. Just let the thing come up to temperature. If you've got to sacrifice a spot or two.
That's well said, Mark. That's well said, because that's really what it amounts to, is that sometimes you have to get to that mindset that you're willing to secede a spot or 2 or 3 just so that you can stay in the race and make that time up somewhere later in the race.
Yeah, I mean, what's the old adage? You can't win the race on lap 1. Donald Green, Ryan O'Donohue, and Billy Elwell all with black flags out here right now. All of those trucks are damaged, by the way. Ted Craven does have the meatball that he must respect. By the way, the stages tonight laps 30 and 60, and so don't mistake anybody that's currently on pit lane or with a black flag for being out of this deal, because we know there are going to be at least 2 more cautions, and so people are going to get laps back. They're going to be waved around. You're going to have a chance to get a wave around. You're going to have a chance to take advantage of lucky dogs and things of that nature. So don't think just because somebody is down a little bit right now that they are necessarily out. Ryan O'Donohue has exited the pit lane. There he goes. He was in his box 48 seconds. Brandon Wallace took 43 seconds of repair. Billy Elwell 49 seconds. Keith Graham, Kendall Paul, and Ted Craven all remain on the pit lane.
No, I'm with you. Because this caution comes out on the first lap, And there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on the track right now. There's a lot of comms that are bouncing back and forth. Some drivers are getting black flags. Other drivers are discussing critical issues that have happened on the track. It really should be a mindset that not to allow it to take you completely out of the race here unless the damage is unrepairable. But if it's a penalty or something like that, just stay focused, stay in the race, and allow yourself to try and make that time up or those laps back. It would be very easy to get discouraged and just alt 4 and just quit or just to step out of the truck. But I would encourage any of these drivers that if it's repairable or if they can stick it out, there's a lot of racing left to do that. So I would encourage them to do that.
Yeah, keep going. I mean, it's one of those.
Yeah.
Keep going. It's one of those too where it is a shorter field tonight, being a holiday weekend. You know, there's a lot of guys we mentioned that are actually attending these events both in Indianapolis and in Charlotte, and they're just simply
we may have some of our AMA competitors that are actually in the infield or camping at Charlotte tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. There's an AMA announcer that'll be headed for Indianapolis as soon as this is over, right? So, you want to, I mean, we're all racers and race fans, and there are some big ones this weekend. Chuck Sweeting jumps out to the lead. Paul Witt second, Matt Wagner third, and he's got the challenge from Andy Dunwoody. David Dunwoody is coming on the top side. Jeffrey Hyatt is looking all over the back of that 17 as well for the bottom spot in the top 5, Sam.
Jeffrey Hyatt, boy, he snuck in at the last minute right before the gridding because he was out of the server and he got in just in time. And so it's a good thing that he did because he looks really strong tonight as he's following Matt Wagner.
Here comes David Dunwoody. He just ran the fastest lap of the race. He's all over the rear deck lid of Paul Witt. He's going to drop that 28 Ford F-150 to the bottom of the speedway. He'll drill right along that blue line. Dunwoody going for second on Paul Witt. Now, those are two AMA veterans. They are very familiar with one another. Witt is going to have the better of him. Dunwoody will fall back in line in third. Chuck Sweeting, he'll reclaim the purple lap.
I kept a close eye on David Dunwoody during practice, and I noticed that in his practice, he was actually exercising a lot of different lines. He was trying some different strategies, how to pass trucks in different manners. I don't know if he was just playing around, but to me it looked like he was just trying to get a measure on what he may or may not be able to do under race conditions tonight. I thought it was really smart, in my opinion, watching him practice before the event tonight, and it's going to be beneficial to him later in the evening if he can pull one of those moves off that I saw him doing in practice.
Now, Billy Elwell's coming off. He is going to go 2 laps down. Elwell, O'Donohue, Donald Green are all 2 laps in arrears. Donald Green sits on pit lane serving his penalty. Meanwhile, the battle is fast and furious. It is fearsome at the front. These 3 trucks all over each other. Everybody else has kind of sort of single filed themselves out. We've only got 1 truck out of the race. That's, 2, excuse me. Kendall Paul in 20th, Ted Craven in 21st. So we've got 19 trucks that remain in the fight, as Paul Page would say. Keith Graham is still under repair, although I think he intends on getting back into the race. Paul Witt drops to the inside of Chuck Sweeting. He's going to make a bid for the lead in 3 and 4, Sam.
If any, we were talking about trucks that had gone a lap down as Paul Witt and Chuck Sweeting continue to battle door to door into turn 1. If anyone knows about getting laps back, it'll be Billy Elwell, because Billy Elwell in previous events has proved that he is willing to stick it out and try and get that lucky dog. And so right here, he's got fresh tires. He's chasing down the leaders. There is a bonus set in the pit area for tires. So if he ruined that first set, maybe he can get by the leaders, get back on to 1 lap down, and make up 2 laps essentially here if he plays his cards right. But here we are still, Paul Witt, Chuck Sweeting, door to door, and David Dunwoody is just waiting in the wings to see which driver is going to benefit in this battle.
There you see Paul Witt. That's looking at Dunwoody. There he is, looking or trying to look at Chuck Sweeting, and they
washed up by Witt right there.
Woo-hoo! We had the camera.
And here comes Dunwoody taking advantage of this.
Yeah, now he's got Billy Elwell right behind him. Now Billy's got fresh tires. He wants to get around these guys because he wants to get back to 1 lap down, because when the caution flies, that would make him That would put him back on the lead lap. So Billy Elwell is not just, he's not just stubbornly being in the way here. He's got a lot to race for.
He has a motive here.
Oh, heck
right.
yeah.
He has a motive, no question. And I know if the leaders see him laps down on the relative, they're getting a little nervous. But Billy Elwell has a motive and a right to get up here and try to race and get that lap back. Let's just hope he continues to race smart and give these leaders the room that they need to battle it out.
Yes, he does. Now he's been out 5 laps on this set since he stopped in his box. I wonder if he took tires. These 3 have yarded the second group, which is led by Matt Wagner. 2.5 seconds is the deficit from Wagner up to Chuck Sweeting, and it's not like these guys are laying down. You got Wagner securely in 4th. Chad Winstead and Jeffrey Hyatt, they're going after it for 5th. James Hodgson is the interested observer in 7th, and we'll get on board James Hodgson.
I did find it interesting watching Sweeting and Witt when they were battling door to door there for the lead. Sweeting actually took a line that Greg Evans really utilized the victory last night to hold off Kyle Heath. He ran that middle line and was able to maintain speed, save tire, and really hold back the late charge from Kyle Heath. And Sweeting was doing the same thing with Paul Witt running that middle line.
Well, and it's allowed David Dunwoody to get past the number 29 of Paul Witt. So Dunwoody now runs second. Billy Elwell has now made his way past Paul Witt in his quest to get back on the lead, to get back to 1 lap down. He's got 14 laps to do it. Let's see if he can make it past Dunwoody here. He's got the inside. He's going to go over Humpy's hump in the turn number 1.
Dunwoody's going to let him go. I think that's smart.
Yeah. Well, you're not racing him. And I wonder
No, you're not. There's nothing to lose by letting him go.
Yeah, and I wonder if Chuck Sweeting will kind of do the same thing. Say, look, the 63 is a lap down. We're not, or 67 is a lap down. We're not racing him. Just let him go.
But Chuck Sweeting also knows that if he opens a door, there's a chance that Dunwoody may take advantage of it.
Well,
but no, he'll run this middle line.
He will. I would expect, and I would expect, given that Billy Elwell it's been a tenth quicker than Chuck Sweeting in the last 4 circuits, that
yes, sir,
that Sweeting is going to see that. He's going to take note. It's not for position, and let him go. It's not worth contact and hurting the truck for no reason. There goes Sweeting up the hill. He's going to let Elwell have the inside going into turn number 1, and I suspect right there he's going to roll out of the throttle early, and Billy Elwell goes to 1 lap down. So when the caution flies, if he's able to stay there, he will be back on the lead lap. What a drive for Billy Elwell.
Would have made up
done.
2 laps. 2 laps. That's significant to the race.
It is now.
Billy Elwell, if he catches this caution, or if he's able to stay out in front of Chuck Sweeting all the way through the stage.
He is now. Speaking of the Liam Anderson Motorsports duo, there are 2 trucks in that stable. The other one, Liam Anderson, he's not having a bad night either. He's running along in 10th. There is the Krause autobody machine. Excuse me. He's got Braden Langley in front of him in the 83. He's got the 04 of Corey Palermo behind him. But firmly rooted in 10th place right now, Liam Anderson. We've got 10 laps to go in the stage. We're going to get back up front because Chuck Sweeting has pulled away from David Dunwoody. Dunwoody and Paul Witt are right together, and those 2 know something about being right together. As AMA veterans, I can personally vouch for the fact that more than a little paint has traded between the 28 and the 29 in races past, but here they are. They're running along second and third here.
Jeffrey Hyatt has called it a night. Jeffrey Hyatt was actually running well.
Yes, he has, and he is.
And now he is taking the truck behind the hauler.
Yeah, he's completely out of the server, and I wonder if that's life intervenes, Sam. Paul Witt goes to the bottom on David Dunwoody, so put Paul Witt to second. And now you're starting to see Wagner, Winstead, James Hodgson, Justin Osterman. They're starting to creep into this picture. Here's Wagner. We'll get on his roll bar, but at one point he was 2 seconds behind Dunwoody and Witt. that gap has shrunk to 0.3.
I was before I noticed that Jeffrey Hyde had pulled his truck into the pit area and called it a night. I was watching Matt Wagner, Chad Winstead, James Hodgson. I was watching those trucks and noticed that they were steadily starting to gain on the leaders. Their purposeful mindset is just to see if they can just take it easy and see how the tire wear is going to work out on a longer run.
100%. I mean, Matt Wagner that last time through, he was the third fastest car on the track.
And Chad Winstead he's not going to allow him to get away.
No.
He's making a move on Matt Wagner here.
No, Winstead slightly faster that last time through. He's going to drill the bottom. He's going to pull to the inside of the 17 and see if he can't make that move. But watch Mr. Excitement. Watch Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. Justin Osterman is a tenth quicker than Wagner, Winstead, Sweeting, Witt, et al. Still. So Mr. Excitement is coming, and he's got James Hodgson in hot pursuit of him. This is going to be one of those. Several way battles, tortoise and hare style. Meanwhile, Liam Anderson has moved himself up to 9th, and to keep checking on that story, Billy Elwell remains ahead of Chuck Sweeting, and I don't think Chuck Sweeting is going to make a single move to get past that 67, Sam.
No, sir. I think that he's perfectly all right just riding in behind Billy Elwell. There's nothing to gain. He has a comfortable lead on second place, and he should be able to comfortably hold that to the end of the stage. And in the meanwhile, 2nd through 6th has decided that they want to work for these points and try to see how fast they can get on the end of this run.
Now, is there an advantage? And I only say this because the open wheel part of my brain says save fuel, save fuel, save fuel, save fuel. Is there any advantage to Chuck Sweeting as we get to 4 laps to go in the stage to just coasting behind that Billy Elwell machine?
Well, that's a great question, Mark, just simply based on the idea that if he's trying to keep pace with Billy Elwell and Billy Elwell is slower than he is, then he can lay out of the throttle a little bit longer. I have known a lot of truck drivers at these particular events, in order to save fuel, they'll clutch a lot in the corners.
Or they turn it off.
That they can. Yeah, they do that just so that they can save fuel if it's a fuel mileage race. But in this particular instance, I don't know that fuel mileage really comes into play with 2 stage brakes.
I'm thinking about more along the lines of
Dunwoody all over the rear deck of Matt Wagner.
There they are. My point was, and this has turned into a 4-way fight for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. You know, I was kind of more thinking along the lines of, shortening up your pit stop. You know, where if you didn't have to take as much fuel. We try to do that in the open wheel stuff all the time. Where
you're talking, you're really talking about tenths of a second. It could be just a hair quicker, but what's going to happen is you're going to change 4 tires anyway, and that's going to take up the majority of the pit stop time as it is. You're only looking at maybe 3 to 4 tenths if you don't take near as much fuel, but it's not going to be significant enough that you're going to make a bunch of passes for position, but you may be able to pull out a one spot.
I think
depending on entry.
I think David Dunwoody has used the good on the Goodyear. He's fallen from 2nd back to 7th. Osterman and Hodgson get by him. Matty Wagner will retain the 4th spot. Wagner is trying to get to Paul Witt, significantly quicker the last time through, but we're about to have a stage break here. There's lap 30 complete.
Winstead he is running these guys down. As we talked about Chuck Sweeting not going past Billy Elwell, he not only passed Billy Elwell, but he left him.
Yeah, and so he does get by Billy Elwell, and there you see Elwell out the back. That's the white and orange truck of Billy Elwell. He did not stay 1 lap down. And
so close.
Yeah, he was close.
He gets the lucky dog, but he's so close to getting the double.
Yeah, he was close to getting back on the lead lap, but that's okay. He would be the only truck 1 lap down at this point. And so, he's still in shape to get himself back on the lead lap. Who that really hurts is Ryan O'Donoghue, because it would have moved O'Donoghue to his own lap, and he would have been able to cycle through and perhaps gain one back. I wonder if you're going to see O'Donoghue stay out here and try to
wave around.
Yeah, get the wave around, and then just hope he can hold on and make some pit work magic happen with with kind of a lucky caution there. But here we come. We're going to come down to pit lane. Chuck Sweeting is going to lead him in, Sam.
And Chad Winstead closes up the gap a little bit to make sure that he can get as close to Sweeting as he can coming off the pit lane. Paul Witt, Matt Wagner, Justin Osterman, who's really, I believe Justin is really wanting to have a better night than what last night turned out to be for him. He was bringing the excitement, but it was an abrupt end for him overall. And so I'm sure that he would like to get a good finish tonight.
For certain, sure. And speaking of good things, we have an amazing audience again tonight, Sam. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in to the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. If you haven't already done so, make sure you hit the like button on the video. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. We're over 1,000, and that is a massive thing for us, and getting moved up into the algorithm and getting more people to watch the show on the P1 Broadcasting Network. And we thank all of you out there. Do want to thank Archway Industrial Coatings. They're a St. Louis-based flooring company that have been getting the job done for years. They do epoxy and urethane flooring solutions that withstand the test of time, all while meeting their customers' installation schedules and budgets. They're committed to doing the highest quality work at the lowest possible cost every time. Whether you're looking for industrial, commercial, restaurant, retail, flooring, or concrete repair at home, you found the perfect partner to get the job done. Get ready to floor it with Archway. That's archwaycoatings.com. We do also want to thank other AMA sponsors: Admin Box, that's race control at the touch of a button; Black Magic Studios, Trak Racer, and Rogue Energy Drink. We are under the first stage caution, lap 33 of 134 here at Charlotte.
I was getting a little tickled in the comms in the event. Matt Wagner, I don't think he sped. I don't think he got a penalty, but he was letting everyone know that he was looking for the limiter on the truck.
Yeah, and that's that's something that you can definitely do as an open wheel guy. I most certainly get that. Now, the one thing that I did want to do is come back here, Sam, and see. There it is. Hold on. Let's roll it back. There's the man right there on the signboard. That's our good friend Craig Forsyth serving as the pit marker for Matty Wagner. And so, shout out to Craig. I'm sure he's watching, and I'm sure he'll have words of encouragement for Matt and I once he sees his face in the broadcast.
I'm telling you, you guys, be nice to Forsyth. I think he's a class act.
He is. For those of you who don't know, Craig Forsyth and myself own the record for the closest finish in an IndyCar at Indianapolis in a 500-mile race. He and I finished .0. You ready for this? .0002 apart. It worked out to 4 millimeters. Is what it was. We measured it out in pixels. It was that close. Chuck Sweeting, he doesn't need the pixel measurement. He's
way past 4 millimeters. He's way past that. He gets a huge jump on this restart.
Yes, he does.
Gets comfortably ahead of Paul Witt. Matt Wagner has decided.
Caution is out on the Speedway.
We have caution on the racetrack.
And I don't know who. Looking. It does not appear.
It looks like the 04 of Corey Palermo.
Yeah, let's see what we've got here. So Palermo is he's down on the apron. He's down low on the back for some reason. Here's Palermo. He's going through turns 1 and 2, and he gets it loose mid corner. He
does come back and cross the track sideways, but he just kisses the outside retaining wall, and is able to get the truck re-straightened out.
I bet Jeremy Dunwoody needs to report to my old pit box for a clean pair of brown pants. That was a sporty ride for Jeremy Dunwoody, and we're gonna show it here just as soon as I can.
And Ryan O'Donoghue as well. He was working that one arm trying to get around Palermo as he got loose.
You ain't kidding there, Sam. Here's how Jeremy Dunwoody sees it. Now look, this is halftime. You can see the 0-4. He's getting light on the bottom. He's on the apron. Here he comes, and just watch Jeremy Dunwoody escape disaster. He misses Donald Green. My goodness sakes, I do not want to be that in that situation. Meanwhile, there goes Billy Elwell, and he's back on the lead lap. So Billy Elwell does make it to the lead lap. He's going to go around the pace car. He will get back into formation at the back of this thing, and that's going to mean Ryan O'Donoghue is now set to be next. O'Donoghue is coming down the pit lane. He was 12.3 seconds in the box, and so no tires, I wouldn't think. But that would be just repairing the remainder of his damage there, Sam?
No question. It probably will be just minimal, whatever it is.
100%. So we are under caution, 37 of 134 complete here in the Salute to Service 200. We saw Donald Green with a very patriotic paint job. There's Donald. I believe he's got, if I'm not mistaken, a service member on the back of, there it is, Specialist Donald R. McCune II on the television board. And so thank you, Donald, for recognizing, a fallen service member there. But there he is, just behind Ryan O'Donoghue, the engine ice machine. They've got Keith Graham in front of them. Lights are going to go out on the pace car, Sam, and we're going to see if we can't get this thing into some green flag action, headed toward the end of that second stage. And that's not that far away. It's only 22 laps.
And now they're closing ranks here very quickly as they go into turn one. Kudos to Keith Graham sticking it out. He's numerous laps down, but he's still in this race. Me personally, I have a lot of respect for drivers that will stick around and do that and just really persevere. So I just want to give a shout out to Keith Graham, considering the tough start that he had to the event, and yet he's still out here turning laps.
He is. Well, and the other thing is you can't learn anything parked on pit road. You know what I mean?
You really can't. You can't.
You know, so if you can get the thing fixed and get it back out, at least you can learn something. You might not learn about the truck might be down on power. It might not be as fast, but you can still learn how other people around you race. You can still learn about tire degradation, things of that nature. There's still a lot that you can learn, and hey, you can pick up some spots. We saw that happen, not too long ago in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series, where attrition happened, and we had guys that were 30, 40 laps down making up 10 spots. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Keith Graham, finishes much higher than the 18th he has currently scored.
There's no telling what could happen later on in this event. We just don't know. As we go back under green flag, and Paul Wick gets a much, much better start this time as he jumps quickly with Chuck Sweeting and falls right in line. Chad Winstead in third. Matt Wagner has now got James Hodgson on the inside of him.
Meanwhile, hold on, Sam, hold the thought. They're 2x2, but Liam Anderson is thinking about making it 3 deep going into turn number 3. Dunwoody is going to power past Justin Osterman. Liam Anderson's going to cut in front of Mr. Excitement, and I think he's going around, Sam. Liam Anderson around. He's going to save it. Just kisses the inside wall. No yellow. No yellow. No yellow. Liam Anderson, and there is a meaning, we're told, on the flags on that one, on that truck. The American flag stays on Liam's truck in honor of his great-grandfather, PFC Carl J. Anderson, United States Army, World War II. And we do thank Mr. Anderson for his service, Liam for recognizing his great-grandfather. That was a gnarly ride, though, that he just took. He saves the truck, I think there's a moral of that story too, Sam.
I'm waiting to hear. I wait with bated
Don't slide up in front of Justin Osterman.
Actually, he started losing that truck is why he slid up there.
Yeah, he was.
I think he just called a bit of the
He
apron
was
there and just started losing the back of the truck.
Yeah, he was pedaling it up there, and you know Justin had nowhere to go, but yeah, if there was a one driver in this field that I had to pick not to slide job, it would not be Justin Osterman. I will slide job Matty Wagner in cars that have and do not have fenders either way. He's working all over the back of James Hodgson. So two of my favorite people to race with, you've got James Hodgson, my endurance teammate, my LC Motorsports teammate, and Matt Wagner. We run the Dark Horse Series together. They're running fourth and fifth. I would love to be in a Discord with those two together. I think that would be a hoot, Sam.
It probably is something that you'd want to document for sure as the night went on.
I wonder how long it would take James to call Matt Wagner a Muppet. Would be my question. Meanwhile,
with his accent, it would be classic. It would just be classic.
Well,
big push.
Yeah,
big push from David Dunwoody here.
Yeah, Dunwoody's all over Wagner. What a Muppet! Nearly causing me to lose control of a Cadillac at 180 miles an hour going around Daytona. Well, you know why he called the guy a Muppet in the first place, right, Sam?
No, I don't.
So it was the last hour of the 24 hours of Daytona. We were running second. We were in and out of a lap down to the lead car, the overall lead. But we had steadily been catching that car. I had unlapped myself 4 or 5 times in the night, and I was very tired. And I was running the car for all it was worth. And I came across some GT traffic. I was about 30 seconds behind the leader. And we came out of the first horseshoe, Sam, and you go through the kink there, that left-hander at Daytona in the infield. Well, I had committed to going past this Porsche, and the Porsche either didn't see me coming or ignored the fact that I was coming. So he turned down.
Paying attention to the relative.
Well, he turned down into the apex, and so I took the caddy to the grass in the kink at 175 miles an hour. Kendall Paul audibly gasps in the stream. You can hear it. James immediately keys the mic because he's actually the one spotting, and he says, "What a Muppet!" Dunwoody goes.
David Dunwoody makes a big move on Matt Wagner right in 1 and 2.
Yeah, but I think
Wagner looks like he may try to return the favor as he goes down the backstretch, but he thinks differently of it and he follows through.
He does, and I thought Dunwoody was going to lose enough momentum. This is the best battle on the racetrack. I thought Dunwoody was going to lose enough momentum that he would lose the position. Meanwhile, Paul Witt has gone to the lead. Chad Winstead is second. Chuck Sweeting has fallen back to third. So new leader here. James Hodgson is fourth. And that group, fourth, fifth, and sixth, is catching these leaders.
If these drivers, as long as they don't get side by side and start racing each other, they should be able to catch this front trio and make it a big 7-car pack. I think Osterman is actually showing a lot of patience tonight, just riding back here, saving some tire. He was one of the fastest trucks at the end of the first stage and was making his way up to the front. He has been one of the few trucks that has been consistently running that higher line to see how his speed equates over the long run based on where he's running at during the entire run. Yeah. Other drivers have been experimenting up and down on the low line, middle, but Osterman is actually one of the few that's stayed well high on both ends of the racetrack. As we see Dunwoody again, he and Matt Wagner have just decided that if they're going to race anybody, they're going to race each other tonight.
Yes, they have. Dunwoody took the position from Wagner. Now Wagner's looking to take the position from Dunwoody. There's Brandon Wallace in 8th. He is kind of all by his lonesome. He's got 2 seconds forward. 2 seconds back to Braden Langley. Braden Langley is running along with Tyler Moore in the 26. There they are. Michael Kirk is the next car for position. Kirk in the 54. That's a very Jimmy Means looking machine there in the 54, the light blue. He is 11th. Jeremy Dunwoody is 12th. Corey Palermo is 13th. Liam Anderson has made his way back to 14th after that lurid slide, and so he's made it back. Billy Elwell, there he is. He's 15th, and I think he's, Sam, just trying to nurse some wore-out tires to get to this next stage break.
He may have used the set, and he has to be smart.
Yeah, I think he's trying to.
And now Chuck Sweeting, after letting Paul Witt and Chad Winstead pull out away from him for the lead, now Chuck Sweeting has caught those two drivers, and he's door-to-door with Chad Winstead coming out of 4. He's caught them, and now he's racing them. Winstead and Witt were door-to-door just the lap prior to this, and now Sweeting is trying to make a pass on Winstead here. And in the meantime, James Hodgson has decided to turn up the wick on the zebra paint scheme, and he is making his way up to this trio.
Meanwhile, Justin Osterman back here in 7th is trying to find a way to go 3 wide with Dunwoody and Wagner. Look at the line here, Sam. He's thinking about it. Dunwoody's in the wall. Yes, he did. So
and now he's going to get a twofer here as he gets on the inside of Matt Wagner.
Yes, he does. So here comes Osterman. He's going to drop to the inside of Wagner. We're going to move Osterman to around 5th. Wagner is going to drop to 6th. Meanwhile, you talked about...
Wagner's not done yet. Wags is not done yet.
No, but neither is James Hodgson. James Hodgson is pulled right up on the back of Chuck Sweeting. We're about to have a 4-way fight for the lead here and the win in the second stage. Wagner stays around Osterman temporarily, but the fight's at the front, Sam. It's 4 ways. We've got 5 laps to go.
It's certainly not a one-man show tonight. These 4 drivers are really wanting to get up here and mix it up, and I'm enjoying the show. It's exactly what I was hoping that we would see tonight with the trucks, and these drivers are actually doing what my expectations were and my hopes were.
Yes, they are. Now, Chuck Sweeting, he dominated the first stage. He's back in 3rd. He's going to drop to the bottom of Paul Witt. Witt clicks the outside retaining wall with the right rear of his truck. That's going to allow Sweeting to get back in a 2nd. James Hodgson, he's trying to figure out what he needs to do to get past Witt. He'll pull to the inside.
Sweeting is clear. Sweeting's clear. Now it's just he and Chad Winstead is the next truck that he needs to navigate around. Paul Witt's not going away quietly.
Nope, he's going to pull it. Witt's going to pull it back to the high side, but he's going to collect the wall.
Oh, and Witt's in the wall.
Yeah, he's in the wall,
That'll
Blue.
open the door for James Hodgson. Oh, he saves it. I thought he was going to lose it, pulling the truck off the wall there. And Chuck Sweeting to the outside of Chad Winstead going into turn 1.
It's not over for James Hodgson either.
Big run.
But huge run for Sweeting on the top. It is not over for for James Hodgson either. He's been consistently quicker than the front 2 lap over lap for about the last 5 laps. Is he going to run out of time, though? Chad Winstead, huge slide coming off at turn number 4. Move Chuck Sweeting in the lead. We've got 3 to go before the stage break. So Chuck Sweeting in the lead. Winstead clobbers the apron. Justin Osterman did clear David Dunwoody, so put Osterman in the 6th. Winstead clobbered the apron, and I thought he was going to shoot up the racetrack, Sam.
He's been pushing this truck incredibly hard all night long. I think Chad's one of those drivers that I was talking about in the pre-race that he's going to test and see exactly how hard he can press the envelope for tire wear.
Yes, he is. Here's Chad Winstead. He's looking to see if he can make one more move. Meanwhile, Justin Osterman, he's going to drop to the inside of Matt Wagner. This is the battle for 5th spot. Wags, he's hanging tough on that high side. He wants the 5th spot, and he can smell 4th place in Paul Witt right in front of him. Paul Witt has used up his tires, but he's only got to stay ahead of Wagner and Osterman for 1 more lap, Sam.
I noticed that a lot of these drivers, as the tire wear begins to come into play, that they are starting to utilize this higher line again. But Osterman is still showing some speed, but because of where he's been running his line, it makes it very difficult for him to make passes on the low side.
Yes, it does. Here they come off of turn number 4. Sweeting, Winstead, Hodgson, Witt, Wagner, Osterman, Dunwoody. There's Brandon Wallace. Braden Langley is coming. Michael Kirk. And there's the caution. Whew. My goodness gracious, Sam.
What a great stage. That was great.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was indeed. There's your winner, Chuck Sweeting. And so that's Chad Winstead. There's Chuck Sweeting in the Purple People Eater. Purple, white, and black on the number 75 Chevrolet. He'll bring it to the attention of the pace car. And Sam, I bet he's going to bring it to the attention of his pit crew here in very short order. So the second stage is Sweeting, Winstead, Hodgson, Witt, Wagner, Osterman, Dunwoody, Wallace, Langley, and Kirk. We will rejoin the broadcast right after these commercial messages. All right, and thank you so much, everybody, for your patience. It is lap 63 of 134 here in the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. Mark Murphy, Sam Crow on the horn here. We are just about halfway through, and that means we've got one stage to go to the end. Liam Anderson did not stop. He has been out for 30 laps, and so Liam Anderson is your leader. Chuck Sweeting is second. The car in front is Keith Graham. He is going to get one of his laps back. Billy Elwell is on the lead lap. Ryan O'Donoghue has gone back to one lap down, and there he is getting his lucky dog. So Ryan O'Donoghue, the next caution, he is on his own lap, will move back to the lead lap. Donald Green remains 2 laps down. There he is. And Keith Graham has gone to 8 laps down, so he's made up 2. We are 64 of 134, and Liam Anderson needs to be very careful here to make sure he does not spin up these rear tires coming to the restart, Sam.
Very easy to do. It's a great point to bring up, is that when you have worn tires like this in these trucks, from a standstill, there's just not a lot of grip, and it's very easy if you're not careful to get wheel spin. But as we're learning a little bit more and more about Liam Anderson. Liam Anderson is a young gun, as we would call him in the racing scene. He's 13 years old, and he's been racing since he's 6 years old, according to what we're reading in the chat. And so he should know about tire spin, and hopefully that he'll be able to make a good start, a clean enough start that the drivers around him will be able to navigate.
Yeah, and that experience driving the micro sprints on dirt is going to be a huge advantage for Liam Anderson, because these trucks are not easy to get going on old tires.
Well, they're even harder to save when they get out of shape.
Yep, there's Liam. He gets the jump.
See, there he goes, and you see the truck veer to the right.
Yeah,
to
and that's
start, but he gathers it up really quick.
he does, and that's a veteran move for Chuck Sweeting to let him have the room to do that. And there goes Chuck Sweeting. There goes Chad Winstead and James Hodgson. They're all going to navigate through Liam Anderson. They're going to pat
Matt Wagner. That's smart move by Wags there as he just falls in line.
Yep. Anderson
Now he's
off the wall. We've got trouble.
James Hodgson is sideways. Paul Witt's involved. Matt Wagner's involved. Several drivers caught into this incident in turn 3 and 4 as James Hodgson loses the back of the truck.
Yeah, let's see if he had some assistance here. They're trying to navigate around Liam Anderson, and
then Wallace is involved.
A whole host of trucks involved. There's Liam. He gets into the wall about the same time that James Hodgson and Paul Witt both do some synchronized spinning. Matty Wags has it cleared to the top, and he gets clouded by Brandon Wallace. So Wags spins the inside. Witt, Dunwoody, and then Jeremy Dunwoody hit each other. Justin Osterman takes evasive action. The 26 of Tyler Moore, he's going to go around. I don't think anybody made any serious.
No, I don't see anything that really stands out to me as being detrimental to anyone's night. Although Dunwoody hitting the back of Paul Witt incredibly hard. He lifted the back of the truck off of the racetrack. That might be a little bit of front end damage for him, but I don't see anything else that's outstanding to me that would be that any driver would have to call it a night. It's just unfortunate.
Poor Wagner. We're going to go back and watch this again. Poor Wagner.
He gets punted.
Well, not only that, but watch Hodgson and Witt both turn loose at the same time in front of him. In the same,
you can see him sideways,
and he misses him. The other crazy thing is he misses him only to get run over and punted through the infield. I don't think that hurts anything other than it's going to make him a little grouchy, but that's all right. He'll be okay.
Actually, he's very calm in comms right now.
Well, you're not in his Discord, Sam. See, there's different comms and Discord. Comms and Discord, two different things. But there he is, and that's what that looks like. He does a whale of a job saving that thing. But caution is on the Speedway. Lap 67 of 134, and Sam, now we get to start counting. Now we get to start counting them down. We are halfway through the scheduled 134 laps here in the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. What a huge break for Liam Anderson, because he's going to come in and get tires.
Yeah,
now,
he had actually got into the wall in 3 and 4 there.
Yes, he did.
And I think the slower speed allowed him to miss a bigger part of that.
It did. Now, here's the thing for Liam Anderson. He's going to come in. He's going to grab 4 fresh tires. I know it's not a lot, Sam, but we saw that just one lap can play a huge difference. Can play a huge difference on tires. Ryan O'Donohue, he's going to bring it down. I don't know that he's going to grab new tires here. He maybe just beating a splash of fuel. David Dunwoody came in. His car was under repair. Same with Brandon Wallace. He took a little bit of repair.
These trucks can make 60-something laps.
No, they can't. But like if you're Ryan O'Donohue, maybe the plan is, you're back there anyway. Run it as long as possible.
We did learn last night that Ryan O'Donohue is the pace. He was the pace setter last night. He was the first one in the last stage to come and get tires. He was able to get out back onto the track, turn some extremely fast laps, and it was able to secure him back up near the front until the latter stages of the event. So, again, this is just one of the instances where these drivers are going to very well probably split this run in half, and then around lap 100 they're probably going to look at pitting and getting fresh tires, and then your leaders, just depending on speed, they may stay out a little bit longer so that they can have a few laps fresher tires going into the end of the event.
You could, but my point with Liam Anderson was he didn't really lose all that much. By stopping there.
No, not at all.
And so he's got 1 or 2 lap fresher tires. We've seen that tell the pace car is going to come on off. Chuck Sweeting is going to lead.
And
Chad
he's on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's on the lead lap. Chad Winstead and Matt Wagner is back in third after doing a little bit of grass cutting. He's got Justin Osterman pushing him down the
Who
front
is hooked
straightaway.
to the trailer hitch.
Yeah, that looked like one truck going through there. They get away with it. Everybody safely through turns 1 and 2.
Shout out to Michael Kirk, who's having a better race than he did last night. Michael Kirk, he was just blindsided by penalty after penalty last night, and I'm sure he was very frustrated this night. But here he is in 6th spot, racing with the leaders, and he's doing a great job.
He was snake bit. There goes Matty Wagner. He's going to drop to the bottom of James Hodgson and secure 3rd place. Justin Osterman, he's going to try to go through. We're watching from the grandstands. This is as you would see it if you were a fan here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Justin Osterman is going to drop down underneath James Hodgson. Move Osterman. Mr. Excitement comes to 4th. Hodgson back to 5th. Chuck Sweeting was briefly challenged.
Oh, Hodgson in the wall hard off of turn 4. That's going to allow Kirk to close in quickly going into turn 1. Wow, he pancaked that truck.
Yes, he did. And that does let Michael Kirk close up. How about Tyler Moore? That's a name we haven't called very much this season. Let's give a call out to Tyler Moore. He has got the number 26, black, red, white, and blue American flag on the side of that baby. He's got that truck up into the 7th spot. He's facing a challenge, though, from David Dunwoody. Dunwoody takes the left side to the grass in an attempt to get by the 26, pushes him up the hill. There he goes. And Dunwoody's not done. He's looking at Kirk. What a move by Dunwoody there. He got past Moore and pulled alongside Kirk.
These are the moves I was trying to tell you that Dunwoody was pulling in practice. It was stuff like that he was doing in practice that it just had me captured, just trying to watch and see what he was trying to work out and trying to experiment with. Those are the same things that he was doing in practice.
Yeah, I mean, there were times, you could tell he was trying to time that move to get to the bottom, going through the double dog leg there. He was trying to time it to get to the bottom. There were times where he mistimed it, and that's why it's practice, folks. But there were times he mistimed it, and he had that truck a car length or two into the grass, just trying to make sure he timed that run from the top to kind of shoot down toward that bottom lane. He's able to make a lot of passes, but he was definitely cutting some grass in practice. That's all AstroTurf down there now, isn't it, Sam?
Yes, sir, it is. It's all AstroTurf.
It's all.
Which the characteristics of a truck that slides across that AstroTurf are very different than what it would be with grass.
And it's very different too. Grass to turf to concrete. It's all of those. As Dunwoody goes to the outside of Hodgson, he's going to try to claim 5th place. All of those surfaces.
Hodgson has to be careful here.
Yeah, he does. All of those.
Dunwoody really kind of closes that gap between the two of them. It's easy to take some of the air off that bottom truck and it get a little loose on you.
That's true. The finishing point I was going to make, Sam, was all those things, all the Legends course, the road course, the turf, grass, whatever you want to call it, all that stuff is different heights as you go down through there. And so you can really tear up an automobile by bounding through that area if you're not careful.
Yes, sir. Kentucky was the worst for those undulating levels of territory, even hitting water drains and grates. It would destroy cars.
Absolutely. But we're watching David Dunwoody. He's worked his way past James Hodgson into 5th. He's looking at Matty Wagner for 4th. Do want to thank so much. We have a semi-celebrity in the house tonight. We've got the Fishman, the head of admin box, is here to cheer on his truck. That would be Andy Dunwoody. He says the Black Magic paint on the side of it's worth 2/10. Now that may be true, Fish, but he's rubbed most of the paint on the right side of it off, and so I don't know if it holds its advantage if it's been scuffed. But the admin box logo may be worth 1/10 as well.
Yeah, it just says ad box now.
Well, on my IndyCar for my farewell tour, they didn't even give me the full logo. They just put I just got the admin box logo and the AB. I didn't even get the full admin. I wasn't even worthy of the whole name, Sam. But any of you race controllers out there, go hit up Fish for an admin box. They are amazing pieces of kit.
It's really a nice piece of equipment.
Yeah, it is. I know that some of our mutual friends have acquired those things, and they absolutely love
This
them.
is true. A great friend of mine who is administrator for a league I've been in for a number of years, he acquired one, and he's been sharing with me some of the particulars about this admin box that he got, and it's impressive. It really is an impressive piece of equipment. And if you're administrating or you're just wanting to up your game as far as having devices that can help you with your sim racing, Admin Box really brings their A game to the table.
Yeah, it's a cool piece of equipment. I think Mike's is engraved though, so his is an addition or two after.
Mike Rigney's, yes.
Yeah,
actually, it's gold plated.
He's got the gold plated admin box. I've got the gold plated commode in my bathroom. So we're we're doing.
No, you have, as you were talking about last night about the IndyCar Museum, you probably have the three leather strips beside the toilet that for your cigars. So.
I tell you this, I did recently quit, but there was a time in the not so distant past when we watched Justin Osterman. He is using surfaces that are race ready and some that are not.
I think the only place he hasn't decided to race is down pit road. I mean, he has used every bit of the racetrack.
Yeah, and there you go. Justin Osterman, like I said, he's using parts of this track that are meant to be raced on and parts that aren't. But he is pulled right up to the back of Chad Winstead. I used to the first time I raced with the Indy Alliance team, we're running, and I can't remember where it was. It might have been Michigan, but we're going down the backstretch, and if you've never watched an IndyCar race at Michigan, it turns into mid-run just a conga line, where everybody's saving fuel and nobody really wants to pass each other. We're ripping down the backstretch 220 some odd miles an hour, and I went and lit a cigarette, and Seb Alexander goes, "Are you smoking in the middle of the couldn't believe that somebody would smoke a cigarette in the middle, because it's not easy doing that." And but I would do that in the middle of a race. Would light a cigarette.
Wow.
Under green, none of this Dick Trickle nonsense where you did it under caution. I did it under green. We are 52 laps to go here in the race. We're watching Justin Osterman, Mr. Excitement, has moved it into third. Chuck Sweeting has dominated the event, is your leader. Chad Winstead has a firm grip on second, but watch out for Osterman here. He is trying everything he knows, Sam, to get up here and make a fight for this win. And we're not that awful far from green flag pit stops either.
No, we're not. In my opinion, I think you're going to start seeing pit stops around lap 100 or so. It's just, I don't know what it is about the nuance of splitting a run in half that a lot of drivers do. I firmly believe in it, and depending on where I'm running in the running order. But I personally think that you'll start seeing somebody that will bite somewhere around the 100 lap mark, and then kind of set the tone. But pit stops will make or break some of these drivers tonight. Green flag stops, that is.
Yeah, they will, and we've been out 22 laps, and we kind of talked about last night the fall off in the Grand National cars. Chuck Sweeting's fastest lap, 29.876. That is the fastest lap of the evening. He's he's last time through 31.086 as we ride on board Matty Wagner. So he's 1.2 seconds off. He's about 23. He's working lap 23 on his current run. Chad Winstead's fallen off about the same. Same for Osterman, Wagner, and Hodgson. So, we haven't seen the huge fall off that we saw with the Grand National cars last night. That actually doesn't surprise me all that much, Sam, given that the trucks have less power, they're draggier, and they've got more downforce.
Just looking through the field here, and actually, did Keith Graham come in and get tires?
He is on 14 lap old tires, so he would have been in.
Yeah, I thought so, because he's actually turning. I mean, I know he's numerous lap down, but he's turning some great speed. So I was just curious if he was.
He is the fastest.
Fresher tires.
Yeah, he's the fastest on the racetrack. Last time through, Keith Graham, 31.030. So he's a couple of tenths quicker than the leader. Watching Wagner and Osterman, this is the best battle on the Speedway currently. Osterman has that third spot. Wags Wag said he wanted him a podium, and he's certainly looking for it, trying to drop to the bottom of Justin Osterman. 47, 46 laps to go coming this time. As Sam alluded to, we expect pit stops right about the time that 47 to go reads. Anywhere from 37 to 30 to go would be the window.
We're also starting to see some of the questions that I had about Osterman running the line that he's run tonight. The majority of his time has been spent in the high line, and some folks would believe that would probably burn up a little bit more tire than usual. Some drivers really live and die by being bottom feeders and staying on the bottom of the racetrack. But as we saw last night, and as we have seen Chuck Sweeting do as well from his perspective, is that middle line actually has some grip and speed, and so I don't know that the high lines work for Justin Osterman here, because he is falling back and Matt Wagner is about to take this position from him, but there still is one more run to make after
Wags is going to clear him. Osterman's going to come back, fight back on the inside.
Big crossover here from Osterman.
They did everything but touch coming through turns 3 and 4. Great job from both drivers. I just don't.
Oh, big run for Wags right there through the center of 1 and 2. Now watch this run coming off.
Yeah.
Great job by Wags there.
Well, that tells the superiority of the tires, and so there goes Wagner, and he is gonna drive right on away from Justin Osterman. The thing with running the bottom, and I know it sounds counterintuitive to people in the audience. They're going to say, well, you're running the bottom, you're turning the wheel more, you're going to burn more tire. It's not the tire. It's not that you burn more. It's what you're burning, right? It's not that the tires are burning. It's which one you're burning. If you're running the bottom, you tend to burn more off on the right rear. If you're running the top, you tend to hurt the right front more. And so essentially, Sam, you're choosing.
About throttle control, yeah. And iRacing, the technicians that set up these fixed setups, they work hard to make these setups drivable for all of the iRacing participants, but they also make these fixed setups in order so that the tire wear will be even. And most of those setups, the majority of those setups are done by running. They work on those setups by running the bottom line.
They do, and I do know. I mean, just from being a bit of a fixed setup maven myself, they do try to make it so that you can use both lines, but it's really a choice. Which corner do you want to burn, and who's got the best throttle control? And you're seeing Matt Wagner, 31 laps into a run, he is now running the exact same lap times as Chuck Sweeting and Chad Winstead. He is starting to even up with him. He's a 10th quicker than Justin Osterman. You're seeing James Hodson. He's running 5th. And our good friend Mike Rigney, he's going to love to see this, because creeping in the picture, the one-arm bandit, Ryan O'Donohue, the 14 has come from 2 laps down to 6th. Now, the story...
Well, it's not a mistake that Wags is doing so well. I mean, we are talking about the driver that qualified on the outside of the front row.
We are indeed, and perhaps spurned on by the fact that he's got our good friend Craig Forsyth literally on top of his pit box. We've got Wagner, and he is past Osterman. He still continues. He's a touch slower than Winstead and Sweeting, but he's faster than everybody else. James Hodson, I'm telling you, is going to be next. He is slowly catching Justin Osterman. Meanwhile, the window for pitting is about to open.
We're getting closer.
We are getting closer. Now, the one truck that might be set to run a little bit longer is
Jeremy Dunwoody just announced his pit stop.
And so Jeremy Dunwoody is going to be the crash test dummy. Here he comes in. He's going to bring the 99. The one that might be set to run a little bit longer, Ryan O'Donohue. He came in under that most recent caution where everybody stayed out, put on 4 fresh tires. He might be the one that's set to run this one a little bit longer, just because he's got 5-lap fresher tires. But that also means he's only got 1 set left, and that'll be the set that he takes when he makes his final stop Here's Jeremy Dunwoody. He's going to pull the Black Magic Studios machine.
Tyler Moore announces his pit stop. Some of the cars. Now this is smart. Just some of the drivers that are at the back of the field, they're going to come in and get fresh tires. Corey Palermo, who's in jeopardy going a lap down, he announces his pit stop. These drivers it's really smart for them to just go ahead and come in and get fresh rubber and then try to make up as much time as they can. As we saw last night, the leaders will tend to stay out a little bit longer so that their last run will be shorter, and they can push the truck a little bit harder on fresh tires.
Yeah, and that was the thing we saw last night, right? Ryan O'Donohue was the short pit. He came in, got the four Mr. Field, set of four Mr. Feelgoods.
Mr. Feelgoods.
Mr. Feelgood. He came in and got him, and he drove out to a half a lap lead. And then Greg Evans, and we're watching Paul Witt here. He was involved in an accident in the most recent accident. He has not been able to pull his way back toward the front. A minute 19 of repair, and I've got to think that there might be some crinkles in the crannies of that number 29 machine, because it is not up to full song. Meanwhile, there's your leader, Chuck Sweeting. Chad Winstead is second, and Winstead is going to be under fire from Matt Wagner at any given moment. But the advantage when you're leading is you don't have to worry about the short pit. You can run as long as you like.
As long as you want. That's right. And he's pulling away here. I've been watching his lap times. It's pretty amazing how consistent his lap times are. Chuck Sweeting is really just kind of mechanically turning consistent lap after consistent lap, and it's not surprising that if he can do that he would be pulling out to the lead that he has right now.
He is. Now, I do want to point out that Billy Elwell is probably the first competitive truck who has made his way on the pit lane. There's Billy, his last lap, 31:41, so he is 1.6 seconds quicker than the leader. The 67 is setting the Charlotte Motor Speedway ablaze, trying to make up time. And here's the thing: if he's there, he is. He's in turn 3 and 4. Look at the map. There's Billy Elwell, the 67. Chuck Sweeting in the 75 is at the start-finish
here comes
line.
Chad Winstead. Winstead is coming down the pit lane.
Okay, so Chad Winstead coming in. Billy Elwell
is one of our leaders. He'll be the first to come in.
There he is. So we'll cover this down for Chad Winstead. My point was Billy Elwell is almost 2 laps down. But he is making up gobs of time, over a second and a half a lap, as
Fresh
Chuck
tires
Sweeting
are
stays
king.
out. Yeah.
There's no question. They are king.
There is Winstead. He is going to make his stop right side up. See him revving the engine left side up. And we do want to see where he comes out. There goes Sweeting one more time. Winstead down and away. So here he comes. I'm kind of interested to see actually
that set things in motion for Chuck Sweeting. Chuck Sweeting has now announced his pit stop.
He is, but there's how much time Billy Elwell gained. He's almost.
Whoa! He comes in really hot. Oh, I think he got it. Whoa! Oh, and Wags comes in extremely fast.
No speeding tickets, either one.
Nicely done, drivers. Nicely done.
I can confirm. So Brandon Wallace is now going to go to the lead. James Hodgson comes back out on the speedway. The 90 is the last truck out. Michael Kirk remains on the racetrack. Braden Langley. Everybody else, Liam Anderson and Paul Witt, have not stopped either. Everybody else has brought their trucks to the attention of their pit crews. And for these guys, at this point, it's you've made your bed. You're going to have to lay in it. You're going to run that baby dry and hope for a yellow.
Yes, sir. And now we see Keith Graham finally just throws in the towel, and he takes his truck back to the garage area. Chad Winstead gets around Chuck Sweeting here, but Chuck Sweeting will have 2-lap fresher tires and has proven to be the fastest truck on the longer run. But let's just see how Chad Winstead paces himself here. And look closely at the truck that is running Sweeting down now from behind. The one-armed bandit, Ryan O'Donoghue,
Yeah, there he
is
is.
coming.
Now O'Donoghue's got 3 laps of extra wear on his tires. David Dunwoody takes the purple lap, but there's the one-armed bandit Ryan O'Donoghue. He is coming. There's the leader, Chuck Sweeting, in front of him. This is 5th and 6th. Both of these trucks are on the lead lap. Wallace, Langley, and Witt still have not pitted. They are theoretically the leaders. There's Brandon Wallace.
Just announced his pit stop.
Okay, so Brandon Wallace is going to come in. That would leave Langley and Witt as the last 2. So they have gone extremely long. Meanwhile, David Dunwoody and Chuck Sweeting, I believe, are trading fast laps. So they're trading haymakers. Donald Green in front of the number 90. That is the leader, Brandon Wallace. Here comes Wallace. Watch him cut this baby down and try to make it onto pit road, Sam.
Chad Winstead, he put the turbos on his out laps, and now he has opened up a second and a half lead on Chuck Sweeting. But now again, Sweeting will have at least 1 or 2 lap fresher tires. And just depending on how hard Chad Winstead is pushing this truck.
So I may have an answer for you, Sam. Chad Winstead is theoretically the leader pro tem of the race, right? Chuck Sweeting is
correct,
theoretically second, and O'Donoghue third. Winstead leads the trio, but he is the slowest of the 3. Sweeting is second. He is second quick. Ryan O'Donoghue is the fastest of the 3. So we've kind of got that dead heat thing going. If it stays like this, they're all going to catch each other at the end.
Closing up on our leaders here. He's closing up on Paul Witt.
Yep. And
now they're battling it out. Paul Witt, that was so close. I thought Paul Witt was going to try and do a crossover right there and make a move on Liam Anderson, but
yes, indeed. Now, Braden Langley, he brought his truck to the pit lane. Witt is just staying out, hoping for a yellow with that damaged truck. Braden Langley throws in the towel. He made it 44 laps before bringing his truck to the attention of the pit lane. That is Liam Anderson immediately behind Chad Winstead. He is 1 lap down in 14th. He is the first car 1 lap down. Meanwhile, Chuck Sweeting and Ryan O'Donoghue continue to catch Chad Winstead. And there's Sweeting, and there's the distance up the road to the leader.
And Liam Anderson is the last. I mean, he's the first truck that's a lap down, and he's probably going to look at trying to fight to get this lap back the hard way. But in the meantime, while if he tries to race Winstead, it's only going to continue to make things difficult for Chad as he's trying to maintain the gap between himself and Chuck Sweeting. But Chuck Sweeting has proved to be the truck to beat tonight.
Yes, he has. Watching Liam Anderson work over the number 34 of Chad Winstead. Winstead, the leader. Anderson 1 lap down, and he desperately wants to get back on that lead lap. But just his mere presence there is going to slow Chad Winstead down. It's a little bit less air on the rear spoiler. Winstead can't lift where he wants to lift, drag the brake where he wants to drag the brake. He can't do exactly what he wants to do. And Chuck Sweeting is gaining 0.2 a lap. He's going to be there soon. Same with Ryan O'Donoghue. They're all going to be on top of each other here within the neck with about 10 to go at current rate.
And it's not going to be too long, but that we see Matt Wagner, who is really hugging that white line in the corners. Matt Wagner is 0.2 faster than Ryan O'Donoghue as well, and so he could very well catch O'Donoghue for the podium position in the closing laps. As we see, Liam Anderson goes underneath Chad Winstead to get that lap back.
Yes, he does. So the Crown's Auto Body Machine of Liam Anderson, he makes his way back to the lead lap the hard way. And I wonder how much starch that took out of Chad Winstead's tires, because Chuck Sweeting is now there.
Yeah, Chuck Sweeting can smell the lead at this particular juncture with a couple of laps fresher tires, and you can cue the Jaws music if you'd like.
I don't have the Jaws music. Brian Sharp not in the field, so I have not been able to play George of the Jungle yet. We are 20 laps to go here in the Salute to Service 200 for the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. Do want to thank all of our sponsors in the series: Black Magic Studios, Admin Box, Trak Racer, Rogue Energy, and especially Archway Industrial Coatings. They're a St. Louis-based flooring company that have been getting the job done for years. They do epoxy and urethane flooring solutions that withstand the test of time, all the while meeting their customers' installation schedules and budgets. They are committed to doing high-quality work at the lowest possible cost every time, whether it's industrial, commercial, restaurant, retail, or concrete repair at home. You found the perfect partner to get the job done now. Get ready to floor it with Archway. That's archwaycoatings.com. Thank you so much for their support of the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. We've got 18 laps to go, Sam. Liam Anderson has got himself back on the lead lap. At least he's running a different line than the two leaders. That's allowing Chad Winstead to stay on the bottom, and that's taking the air away from Chuck Sweeting if he wants to run the top, Sam.
Look, Chad Winstead is looking constantly to go on the low side of Liam Anderson here. That really just cuts the choices for Chuck Sweeting out of the equation. It's really going to take Chuck Sweeting just continuing to be patient here to see how it plays out, because we're still sitting with about 15 laps or so to go, and so there's still a little bit of time for things to work into Chuck Sweeting's favor. It's just a matter of trying to figure out how Chad Winstead's going to navigate around or race with the 8 truck.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as if he's able to use Liam Anderson as a pick, but now he's going around the bottom of Liam, and I think the two leaders are going to have it this time. Chuck Sweeting, we've got to get on board. Chuck Sweeting.
That's great patience on Sweeting's part. You know, he's in his mind, he's thinking, I have fresher tires, I have the better truck, I'm ready to go. But he's showing so much patience here, and that's a trait that you don't see a lot of in iRacing, is someone that's willing to wait things out and see how it plays out, because he knows he has some laps to work to his favor.
Now he's going to the bottom.
He goes to the inside of Chad Winstead.
Yep. So Winstead gets caught up behind Liam Anderson. Sweeting now uses Liam as the pick. He's going to drop to the bottom of Chad Winstead, move Chuck Sweeting to the lead, Winstead to second, and now he's going to try to get around the number 18 of Liam Anderson, and Anderson proving not easy to pass.
Oh, when he gets down on the apron. Now here's a big run by Winstead coming off a 2.
Look, it's you cannot fault Liam Anderson for wanting to race to be on the lead lap. He's not doing anything wrong there.
No, he's not.
He's not. He's racing.
Not. But if you're the leaders, he's doing everything wrong. If you're a racer, he's doing everything right.
Yeah, he's not doing anything wrong there.
But now, if the laps were closing, there may be some debate on whether Liam should just get out of the way and allow the leaders to race those last few laps out. But right now, he's entitled to run and try to get this lap back.
He is. Now, to be fair, he is 18.
Sweeting has run the bottom as good as anyone tonight.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, Liam Anderson, and they're going to touch.
Oh, and they almost touched coming off a turn 4.
No, they didn't almost touch Sam. They did. The thing with Liam is he's 17 seconds. We've got a crash,
They made contact going into 1. Sweeting in the wall. We have a caution. Wow. This is exactly why the leaders get so nervous about trucks that are racing for that lap back. They feel they just made contact and stuck together, and they could not get off each other. Unbelievable.
That is hard to believe, and it's what's even more is I don't.
Can we go back to Chad's cockpit and look at this?
You know what?
We go back to Chad Winstead's cockpit. I would like to see it from his view.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's even take the truck out of the equation. We'll get on the nose, looking at it from Chad Winstead's point of view. I I
I
mean,
don't know that Liam had much more room to go up top.
no, he didn't.
He really didn't. I
He,
think Chuck was maybe just trying to get as much entry as he could there, and they just got they. I can't tell if it was net code or not, but
no,
once they
they,
touch, they can't get off of each other. They just
yeah,
can't.
yeah, they can't get off each other. Liam Anderson did nothing wrong. He will maintain. He'll be well. He doesn't get the lucky dog because he's involved in the caution, but he gets the wave
It's
around
true.
anyway. So he'll be back on the lead lap one way or another. We're going to get 10 laps to go. Liam Anderson had every right to race there, to stay on the lead lap. And contact ensued. Chuck Sweeting, he's going to bring his machine down the pit lane, and let's see what we're looking at on the 75. Sam, he's got crunched in right side, right front. The hood's kind of bent there. We got right rear. He might be okay.
They're working on. They're working on the truck as we speak. And Chuck Sweeting has a fresh set of tires. You know that he has a fresh set of tires in the pit area.
You do. So it's going to be a matter
There were
of
plenty. There was plenty tires for the limit here tonight. So considering how well he was running in the stages, those were the only pit stops that he made. I firmly believe that he's going to put fresh tires on here as well as the leaders, and he's going to make a run for this thing. I don't think that Chuck Sweeting's going to easily roll over just because of what's happened here in this last caution period. Chuck Sweeting feels like he probably has something to prove at this particular juncture.
now he
But
does.
it's going to be interesting to say the least for these last 7 or 8 laps.
Now, I'm going to give you something else that's pretty interesting. Look at who's leading this baby.
That would be Chad Winstead's leading.
Is he?
Well, he's showing on my leaderboard as the leader.
So Chad Winstead is not.
No. Okay, it was not updated. Now we do see Wags is leading this thing.
Yeah. So Chad
You
Winstead.
can point that out all you want, but we cannot ignore what's happening on the outside of the front row here. Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, throw caution to the wind in the 53 because he is not going to do anything less than put on a show here.
Sam, are you predicting that we're going to have more cautions? And how about Billy
No,
Elwell?
I'm just saying Justin Osterman is not going to lay over for anybody
Well, and
with
then
the
you
checkered
got-
flag in his sights.
And then
we both know Wags is not going to roll over either.
No, he's not. And then you've got Chad Winstead, who's been a bullet all night, along with David Dunwoody, who's not
David
known.
Dunwoody, who has been driving and making moves that no one else has made all night long.
You got the one-armed bandit and James Hodgson, who's had a lot of pace tonight, row 3. How about Billy Elwell? 2 laps down to 7th. Yeah, 2 laps down to 7th. So there's your front 8, along with Brandon Wallace. Chuck Sweeting is going to restart this baby
Now
in
the caution
11th.
car's in. We're getting ready to go to green flag racing here. Hold on, folks. It's not over. Hold on.
Green flag, green flag.
Dunwoody hits
Oh,
Wagner.
no,
They're
they get into
spinning.
each other. Wags spins the tires on the start. They're crashing across the start-finish line.
Okay.
Oh.
So, heartbreak for Matt Wagner.
Did Dunwoody get into the back of Wagner there?
Yes, he did. So, David Dunwoody gets in the back of Matt Wagner, who turns up into
Gets him out
Justin
of shape
Osterman.
and sends him up the track.
And that starts the chain reaction here. Black flag on the speedway for David
Now,
Dunwoody.
Dunwoody is saying that he believes that Wagner spun the tires, but that's going to be conversation that's going to be have to had with the drivers themselves.
Well, the black flag was cleared. Let's get. Let's watch on board here.
Billy Elwell, Justin Osterman, Matt Wagner, Brandon Wallace. Chuck Sweeting is also involved in this incident. Tyler Moore is involved in this incident. Jeremy Dunwoody is involved in this incident. Over half the field is involved in this particular restart.
Yeah, it's a big mess going back through here, and you've got to feel bad.
So much contact there. Oh, and James Hodgson and Ryan O'Donohue do a great job. They door slam each other, but they were able to keep the trucks pointed in the north-south direction.
Yeah,
This is so unexpected.
Yeah, O'Donohue might get a bit of a front end wrinkle out of that, but he gets through it. Dunwoody is going to have his black flag cleared, and I'm sure that will be reviewed post-race. Chad Winstead, James Hodgson, Ryan O'Donohue, Billy Elwell are your top 5. We're going to get back to live action now. Sam, this is going to result, I believe, in one of them natural green-white checker things, is it not? Or are we going to have 4 to go here? 5 to go?
I think you're right. I think we're going to have a natural. I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out. Dunwoody has he's proved that he's got a fast truck on a short run, but so has Chad Winstead. Chad Winstead easily was pushing the envelope early in the first 2 stages to get up front, so he's proved that he's extremely fast. James Hodgson is also a hot shoe. Ryan, the one-armed bandit is back here, but we don't know the extent of the damage that some of these trucks may have after hitting each other. Billy Elwell is, despite all of the activity that he's experienced tonight, has raced his way up into the 5th position. And Michael Kirk, I am so thrilled to see Michael Kirk having a good run tonight, considering all the things that have happened to him last night. Tyler Moore quietly, again, we've not mentioned much of him, but Tyler Moore has done a great job as well, just running his race. Liam Anderson, the unfortunate part of what we saw in the caution prior to that with Chuck Sweeting and the leader. I hate that for Liam, but certainly a racing situation that he was involved in. Now we're going to be coming to the green flag here. Chuck Sweeting is still not on the racing surface.
He has left pit road, though. He was under repair a minute 1 second.
Yeah, here he comes. He's coming to the back of the field now.
Yeah, him.
As is Matt Wagner.
Yeah, him, Wagner, Witt, Osterman, Palermo, all
Yes.
took large amounts of repair. I don't think that any of them are all the way fixed, but they did get as much as they could.
That's probably a very good theory to hold on to. Oh, Osterman coming in hot there. Woo.
Gary says
the only thing hotter than those tires is probably the cockpit of that truck. I mean, to be on the front row and then all of that occur. Now Dunwoody has control of the field here as the pace car is coming around to turn 4 and be pulling off the racing surface in just a moment. Dunwoody has control. Chad Winstead is really doing a great job. He's right there even with the leader.
Yes,
pace car's in, and as they come into the restart zone.
Here we go. There's Dunwoody. He's
Green flag.
got the green flag.
Oh, Winstead tried to anticipate that, and he had to back out of the throttle just a little bit. He almost jumped the leader on that. He was really guessing that hard, and Dunwoody's able to jump out to a 1-truck lead.
Yes,
James Hodgson on the inside of Winstead because of the hesitation on that start. Liam Anderson to the wall in turn 2.
4 laps
push
to go.
from Osterman behind Wagner in the back.
We're going to keep it at the front.
And now
Donald
we see
Green.
a lap truck that's out on the race. Donald Green pulls it down on the apron smartly.
Wagner hard in the wall in the back. Wagner smokes the outside retaining wall going through the front stretch. He's going to get it straight, but my goodness gracious, a little bit of extra fun going on in the back, I think. We're going to get back live, but Matty Wagner clobbered the outside wall. Let's get it back to the front.
He's giving an apology out in the comms, and Chad Winstead is now out front. David Dunwoody is trying to make something work on the outside. Will he get a run?
I don't know. This is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. We've got 3 miles, 2 laps to decide it here at Charlotte. Winstead to the outside. Dunwoody is going to grab the bottom. Can he make the move here coming off of turn 2, Sam?
Michael Kirk is showing some strength as he gets on the inside of Ryan O'Donoghue, coming down the backstretch for 4th position. Chad Winstead is now with a high entry, low exit. He's hugging the bottom line, and he's holding off Dunwoody and giving him all the dirty air that he can handle. James Hodgson is pulling up quickly on the 28 truck of Dunwoody.
Meanwhile, we've got the white flag. Next flag will end the race. Chad Winstead is the leader. Dunwoody second. James Hodgson third. We're around turns 1 and 2. We'll keep it here in the battle for the lead. Michael Kirk has made his way to 4th, and the one-armed bandit, Ryan O'Donoghue, is 5th. O'Donoghue under serious fire from Brandon Wallace as they head to turn 3. No fight for the lead. We're going to click back
now
here.
we see Osterman in the wall on entry. Big run for Chad Winstead. He brushes the wall coming out of 4, but he gets a big run out of that particular corner. And Dunwoody is trying to hold pace, going into 1 and 2, and Ron O'Donoghue with a deep drive.
Sam, they're still racing, but the race is over.
Unbelievable.
They don't want it to end just as much as we don't want it to end. My goodness sakes. What a show that was at the end, for certain sure. All right, Sam. Whew, let's get the breath caught and get some music queued up and tell the people how it ended. Chad Winstead is the winner. David Dunwoody is going to come home second. James Hodgson rounds out the podium. Michael Kirk is 4th. Ryan O'Donoghue, the one-armed bandit, fast in practice, starts in the back. Early trouble, he's going to be 5th. Brandon Wallace, Billy Elwell, Justin Osterman, Paul Witt, and Tyler Moore, they're going to come home 6 through 10. In 11th, how about Chuck Sweeting, Corey Palermo? He makes it home in 12th. Matt Wagner, 13th. Liam Anderson, 14th. Jeremy Dunwoody, 15th. Donald Green, he'll be classified 16th. Braden Langley, 17th. Keith Graham, Jeffrey Hyatt, Kendale Paul, and Ted Craven round out the field. They are all out of the race, Sam.
Man, how quickly that race changed in the closing laps. That race the whole complexity of that race changed so much in the closing laps.
Whew. Yes, it
You
did.
have drivers like Matt Wagner, Chuck Sweeting, who had great runs almost all night. Chuck Sweeting really class of the field in many regards, and then he gets caught up in 2 late race cautions. Matt Wagner, of course, gets caught in the misfortune as well. The one that just seemed to navigate through those late race incidences was Chad Winstead, and he was able to pull this win off.
Yes, he was. Now, sometimes you got to have a little bit of, sometimes you got to be fast. Sometimes you got to have a little bit of luck. Here's a man that had a little bit of both of those tonight. Maybe not on the short runs, James, but you were definitely quick on the long ones. Tell us how you navigated the insanity at the end and brought the zebra home in 3rd.
Thank you. I just held on for dear life. I mean, literally just put the pedal to the floor, fluctuated a little bit, and just went, let's just do it. I mean, the long run was where it was at, and being completely honest, I kind of feel like I definitely I lucked a podium here, but hey, I'll take it. I just feel super bad for Chuck, because that was between him, I think, and Chad for the win. But hey, I'll take it. It's first podium of the year. Good to talk to you guys.
Yeah, good to talk to you,
We're
Sam.
thrilled to talk to you. No, we're thrilled to talk to you, James. In fact, we were really trying to take a dopamine for the paint scheme that you had tonight, but we were even more intrigued by some of the run that you had. Can you give us a little insight about what your thought processes were working through the first 2 stages? Because you really showed a lot of speed early on, and then it seemed like you wanted to settle in for the long run on the last stage. Was that kind of your strategy?
Yes and no. I wanted to save tires, because I knew that if you go easy on the tires at this place, it does eat rubber if you're not careful. And towards the end of the run, I was making ground and got some good stage points. My problem was probably more psychological at the start of the 3rd stage, because I kind of just eased off a little bit and let people take me on the inside, which, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it made my job considerably harder, because then you've got to pass those people, and So I should have just stuck to my guns, which is hammer to the floor for a couple of laps, settle in, and go from there. But hey, it worked out.
Well, there's no question, and a lot of racing depends on putting yourself in a position for a podium or a win, and that's exactly what you did. You stayed up front most of the night, and so you did a great job, James. We're thrilled to have you for your first podium of the year here in the Archway Industrial Series. We're really glad that you've had this finish.
Sam, thank you. I'm grinning from ear to ear right now. It's super nice to have a podium, and like I said, I felt bad for Matt Wagner as well, because he had a stellar run. I was following him for probably stage 1 and 2, and fair play. He's settled in. He's got a lot of speed, so it's going to be good fun battling with him going forward as well.
Yes, it will. And we thank you so much, James, for stopping by here in the P1 Broadcasting booth. Before we get to friends, family, sponsors, and shout-outs, I have to ask, was anybody declared to be a Muppet this evening?
I will keep that thought to myself.
There were no Volkswagens on the track this evening, so maybe not.
There was the Volkswagen in disguise.
Harpenmugen.
Yeah.
Go ahead, take it away. Friends, family, sponsors, the floor is yours, James.
Thank you. First and foremost, the truck, as much as it was slightly psychedelic, which I kind of went for that weird look, it was in honor of my father, who passed too early, and my grandfather, both of who were in the Air Force. Grandfather flew in World War II in Lancasters and Wellington bombers, so
wow.
thanks to them. And then I just want to shout out to you guys at P1 for putting on honestly just absolutely fantastic broadcast week in, week out. You know, you do an incredible job and extremely professional. Thanks to AMA, Kendale, Dunwoody, all part of the DPI crew, Chad, and Ted and Mike as well, and just thanks to my wife and kids for putting up with me talking about racing virtually, going to races. They look at me like I'm crazy, you know, guy with this accent loving NASCAR, but hey, I love it. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
There's
James.
nothing crazy about the finish you had tonight. You did a great job.
Heck
Thank
yeah,
you, sir.
man.
I really appreciate it.
Get out of here. Go have some fun and drink your beer cold, will you?
I will do. Thanks, mate.
Yes, sir. That is James Hodgson. He's going to bring it home on the bottom step of the podium. Meanwhile, we've got second place runner David Dunwoody and Andy. We got to address the elephant in the room. What transpired there on the restart with the big crash with Wagner?
I actually just looked at it because I wanted to make sure I knew before I got in here. There's the two in front of me, Justin and Wagner, were close. And I thought I saw Maddie's rear end dip like he went, and I got on the gas, start rolling it to go with him because I knew we had to beat Chad off into turn 1 since we were all on 2 tires. And then next thing I know, they're going sideways.
Gotcha. No, that's the only question I had. Well done, my friend. You came from a mid-pack starting spot to dueling for the lead at the end, and that's what you're supposed to do. It doesn't matter how you run in the middle; it's how you finish. Congratulations on your second place run, Sam. What do you have for Mr. Dunwoody?
Andy, you have been the focus of my attention most of the night. I hung with you a lot during practice, and there were a lot of things that you were doing in practice that just seemed out of the ordinary for most folks. You were trying different lines. You were working on different kind of passes. You were working throttle control different. I rode with you a lot during practice, and then you were able to implement some of that during the race. Can you give us a little insight about what you were thinking that you might or might be able to do or not do in the race tonight with that kind of thought process?
Definitely in practice, I was trying to make 10, 15 lap runs and see what it would do with 15 lap runs because I knew we would get long runs like last night. Had a blast last night, learned a lot again because I haven't been in an Xfinity car in a while, but I was just trying to figure out where I could pass and how I could pass, how I could make moves from off the wall to the apron in 3 and 4 to get that slingshot down the front straightaway.
Yep.
And then I figured out that there was guys lifted in the middle of the corner after they drove it in deep, so I could drive right around them on the outside. So,
right. It was very interesting to watch what you did and then implementing some of those things into the race, and it certainly worked out in your favor here at the end with a second place finish. It was interesting to watch you and an enjoyment to watch you tonight, and so I'm really happy for your finish.
Thank you. I'm super excited. We got the fastest lap bonus too there because we were able to run wide open for one lap. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, boss man, heck of a night. Congratulations on second place.
And your sponsor was actually in the chat rooting for you tonight, so you're able to get admin box a little bit of TV time. So great job.
Fish was in here. So for those who don't know, if you've heard me talk about Blackmagic Studios admin box before in broadcast, Sam, Andy Dunwoody, David Dunwoody, is the man behind Blackmagic Studios, and then you've got Fish in the chat is the man behind Admin Box. So these guys have been my longtime backers, and so I'm absolutely grateful to them. Before Dunwoody gets a chance to give his shout-outs, he's forced to listen to the mariachi music. With that said, Dunwoody, friends, family, the joke is that in the middle of the night of the 24 hours of Daytona, I was running fast lap after fast lap after fast lap. And every time I set the fast lap of the race, he played the mariachi music, and it played for about 2 hours straight. Friends, family, sponsors, the floor is yours, my good man.
I got to thank Admin Box, all the guys back at Blackmagic, Dark Horse Performance, Dr. Squatch, Archway, the guys over at White Knuckle, and then our new startup that we're working on is the Voodoo Setup Shop. We're doing truck setups for C Opens for free. So if you need C Open setups, you can come to me. They've been pretty fast this week. Just thanks to everybody watching. You guys for putting on the show.
We appreciate you, Andy. Thank you so much for joining in. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy, and we will see you next week. That is David Dunwoody. We will throw him right on out of the booth and enter Chad Winstead. Chad, you've got Mark and Sam in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what, that was a lot of fun watching you and Chuck, and then you and Wagner, and then you and Dunwoody race for it.
You and Hodgson.
Tell us how you made that work. You held them all off in the end.
Yeah, I think just 4 tires, to be honest. When I knew some people would take 2, didn't feel like that would be the move, so stuck with my gut and took 4. And obviously a lot of crazy things happened tonight for me to be in the position that I was. In front of me, I was able to dodge several wrecks. Feel terrible for Chuck because I feel like that probably should have been his race to win. He was the fastest truck all night, and I felt like I was second fastest. And the cards just kind of fell tonight. I've had some bad luck earlier in the season, so I'm thankful for it. But yeah, I think 4 tires had a lot to do with it at the end.
Chad, there's no question that you had a great truck tonight. You were running up front with the leaders most of the race. I know that you gridded 8. Your qualifying effort was really not a qualifying effort that you've depicted for us most of the year, but you were quickly wanting to get up to the front. Was that just something important to you? You wanted to make sure that you were running with the leaders from the first stage on, because you made your way up there quickly. Was that where you wanted to stay all day, or did it contemplate somewhere in your thinking that you wanted to save tire?
I always want to be up near the front. I wish I could qualify better. I kind of stink at qualifying. Tonight, I straight up put it in the wall in the first lap, so that kind of killed my time. But yeah, I wanted to start up front and be up front that race. I did save tire that first run, and I felt like that's how I was able to work my way up into that top 5 position. I was just patient and waited for some of the guys to burn their stuff off, and just picked them off one by one. And then once I realized I had something for Chuck, because when I started pushing the issue and kind of figuring out where the limit was on that second stage, had the lead there for a little while. I thought I was going to win the stage, and sure enough, he comes back around me with some better tire savings. So, kudos to him all night. Like I said, he was the fastest truck, and yeah, I was just trying everything I could to give him a battle for the win, and to be sitting here tonight. So glad to be back in victory lane.
Well, you certainly drove a smart, clean, and adventurous race, because I don't know that there were many trucks in the top 10 that you weren't racing with at some point in some time, and you proved to prevail over all of them. So congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think I dodged 3 wrecks tonight. That first one,
Yeah,
at the beginning of the race, I just barely got through. Then the restart, I was right there, and obviously
and then,
what
of course,
happened
the event with Chuck Sweeting and Liam Anderson.
Yep, and then somebody came off the pits right at the green-white checkered. I thought was going to kill all of us. So
Donald Green came out on the track, but he quickly got to the apron.
Yeah, it was definitely an eventful race, high stress, but I don't know. I love Charlotte. I think it's a fun track. You can have some good clean racing like we had tonight as well. So overall, hopefully it put on a good show for everybody out there.
It was a tremendous race tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chad, for thank you so much for both the entertaining race and joining us here in the booth, as is the tradition. You've done it once before. Friends, family, sponsors, the floor is yours.
Yep. So got to give a shout out to Pilot John on the truck tonight. We've got some members out there watching. Shout out to my wife who's watching as well. My #1 supporter for all this, and anybody else, friends and families that's out there watching. Hopefully you are, because I finally won one again. And thank you guys for putting this on as always.
Yeah, we appreciate you, my man. Keep going fast, having fun, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, and one more shout out, my Dark Horse guys down there coaching me up there at the end. So appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Great run tonight, Chad.
So that is Chad Winstead. He's going to come home the winner this evening. Whew, Sam, I need to breathe more.
I just love how it plays out and works this way. I really, being a racer, you and I being racers ourselves, in our involvement with iRacing, it never stops when you're not a participant, you're just a spectator, or in our position where we're broadcasting. It never goes away, that sinking feeling in your stomach when you see things happen in the race, and you just feel so bad for drivers. Just like whether it's the incident on the first lap where so many, Kendall Paul having an equipment failure in the first turn, or whether it's Ted Craven losing it in 3 and 4 on the first lap, and then several trucks being caught up into that incident, or Chuck Sweeting owning this event and only to get tied up with another truck that's trying to get his lap back. It just gives you that. It doesn't matter how many times it happens, you just get that sinking feeling. And I think that's just part of why racing is so exciting, because you never know what to expect.
I will echo those sentiments. We do need a prediction out of you. Mr. Godso was in the chat, and he needs your Indianapolis 500 prediction. We are IndyCar guys at the channel. After all, Sam, who you got Sunday?
When it comes to Indy, I would love to see Graham Rahal win the race. I would. That's just me. But McLaughlin gets my nod.
The next words out of my mouth are both going to surprise you, and they are going to burn Gary Godso's ears. In one day, 13 hours, 30 minutes, and 30 seconds, when they roll them off at Indianapolis, and who's counting? 500 miles later, I'm going to say that Kyle Larson is going to be standing in Victory Circle.
Now, that would be the dream situation. I just find it so... I mean, he is unlikely, in my opinion, to win it as much as Graham Rahal.
I will say this. I will say this. Last year, if he doesn't get the speeding ticket, he comes out with O'Ward and Rossi, and is in the middle of that fight for the lead. Now, whether he wins it or not, that's an entirely...
He also had a better starting position last year.
That's entirely a matter for debate. I think the added year of experience, the added year with the car, are going to do him some good. And it comes down to, at the end of those things, it comes down to racers race, and all you want is a chip and a chair. Give me Kyle Larson to win the Indianapolis 500.
You and Gary are the historians. I mean, when is a driver won the Indianapolis 500 that started 20th or further back? When was the last time that occurred?
Oh God!
I mean, because the talk now is simply based on the fact that Newgarden and the Penske cars are starting in the back, and there's I don't know that there's ever been a winner from the back row.
So there has never been a winner from the back row. There's been a winner from everywhere else. I don't think in the modern day and age, starting position matters as much. And reason being is the cars now are fairly equal. Used to be in years past.
Hard to pass, though.
Yeah.
So hard to pass.
Well, that's true, but it used to be in years past, Sam. You know, there was a huge disparity between the cars on the front of that line and the cars in the back. Now, you know, you're looking at it. You know, I can remember years where there was a 20-mile-an-hour disparity between the front row and the back row. Now there's, you know, a barely a 0.2 of a mile an hour disparity between the whole field. So they're so equal. I think that you can win it from anywhere. But just like any other 500-mile race, and just like the Coke 600, it's going to require a perfect trip. It's going to require at least one lucky break somewhere along the line, and it's going to require at least one gamble that you hit right in order to win it. For everybody at the P1 Broadcasting Network, I do want to thank all of the people involved with the show. It's not just Sam and I and Gary. There's a whole crew of people, and we want to thank all of them for the wild year-long ride this has been. We started this just after Indianapolis last year. It'll be 1 year, and we're going to celebrate our 1-year anniversary in June with the inaugural P1 600, which is going to be a 600-kilometer event at the Michigan International Speedway. Indy cars, you want to see some wide open thrills. Check that out. That's going to be June the 7th. Once we all get back in town from the fun of Memorial Day. But Memorial Day is not all fun. We do need to pause and remember all of those who gave their lives so that we may enjoy two of the world's greatest sporting events as free men and women. And we want to thank the people that keep it that way: the military, the police, the EMS, the firefighters, the nurses in the emergency room that take care of me when I do something dumb. We salute you from the bottom of our hearts. Sam, 1 day, 13 hours, and 26 minutes. We better take the belts off, buddy.
Listen, you be safe this weekend and enjoy yourself.
I most certainly will. Good night, everybody.
Good night. All right. I enjoyed it. I appreciate you. I'm really in the mood for another cup of coffee. So, uh, it will be hard to, in my opinion, and I just didn't want to say it just simply because everybody says it, but it'd be hard to bet against Alex Palau. Honestly, it'd just be hard to bet against him. Well, that's all right. Go get your beverage. I just thought I'd throw that out there because everybody says Palau, but I like Scott McLaughlin. I hope that he wins. I lost you. I can't hear you anymore. Okay, thank you. Okay. Rigney says the mics are still live on YouTube.